What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Juice, man.
Is this 4 in a row?
Something like that.
I can't count that high.
Something light.
We're professionals now.
Well, we're trying to turn this
Professional
into
podcasters because we can't be professional fishermen.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, we're trying to turn this into an actual podcast where we put out content and people listen to it. So
yeah, the tens of y'all that listen, appreciate it.
Yep.
Appreciate
All
it.
10 of you.
Did you see that last comment on YouTube? That was pretty nice.
I
forgot his name. Nice guy.
Did not see
We're
it.
in his top 3 behind Mercer and Low Budget Live.
Wow.
Man, talk about an endorsement.
Appreciate it. Probably just because we're, trying to keep it real. And
I don't know, man. Maybe it's because we did 3 in a row. Now 4 in a row.
that could be it. Who knows?
I think that's what it is. You just got to saturate. And that's not
Probably
even saturation.
going to have to do a better job marketing it this next season. And
Anyway.
probably got to pay for some.
We're around, so we're doing them. We
Yep.
got some cool guests. We've had some cool guests.
Absolutely.
Gleason's got a lot of views. It was a good show. And then
Yep.
you predicted Travis Harriman doing good at the Toyota Series Championship, which he did.
He's a good guy.
And then Mr. John Garrett.
John Garrett was that's one of my favorite ones probably so far,
Yeah.
honestly, just because he was just really real about it.
Yeah, I was surprised how much he was actually willing to share, and I appreciated we got into the sponsor thing a little bit, like we do with everybody, and I was surprised to learn that somebody like him is not just raking it in. I mean, he's done well
I think
for himself.
I think it's pretty obvious, like anybody that actually keeps up with the sport, of tournament fishing, and I'm not saying there's very many out there. That's what I'm coming to realize, like our sport's not near as big as
No, it's not.
what some people make it out to be.
There's lots of fishermen, but not necessarily people that are interested in tournament fishing.
Yeah, but I think people are starting to realize, like, hey, we're going through some drastic changes in our industry, and guys are just tired of, not everybody, but tired of hiding some stuff, and there's more guys now, to me, more than ever, that are coming out and talking about some stuff that may be kind of personal to them, but I think they're doing it for the right reasons, trying to help, the future guys kind of understand what they're getting themselves into. We've kind of talked about this before the show. We, like I said, the people that keep up with the sport and pay attention to it, one of the biggest videos circulating right now is from the guy named Jacob Fouts, who been on the Elite Series for 3 years.
Yeah, this is his 3rd year. He's going into his 3rd year.
Yeah, my bad. He's been on it for 2, going into 3.
Yeah.
And I knew, I didn't really know him, but I remember competing against him in college. I remember when he, went to the Classic and all that, big deal. And he kind of brought some stuff to light. Like, he's not a big social media guy, and
Feel that.
He's just kind of talking about, and I think a lot of people realize this now, like, you can't just be a fisherman anymore. You got to be a social media.
You got to be a marketer.
You got to be good at marketing, and you really,
Salesman.
Marketing and sales go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But, and there's gonna be a lot of opinions on that. For me, it's unfortunate to see that the industry is not that way. Like he alluded to in one of his videos. If you haven't checked out those videos, you really need to go give it a look.
You should. I mean, he's trending up big time. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, he's gaining a lot of traction with subscribers and stuff. So good for him, man. But one of the things that hit home for me in those videos, it's on his page. I don't know his exact YouTube page, but if you search Jacob Fouts, I'm sure it'll come up on YouTube. Those videos, man, like the thing that hit home to me is he talks about when he was coming up, who did he talk to, or who he talked to were some guys that were already pros, guys at the top of the sport competing at the highest level, whether that was, he didn't name any names, but whether that was FLW or Bass, who knows, but he asked them for advice, and one of the most common pieces of advice, which sounds good, it always has sounded good, is, man, just worry about catching them. Everything else will take care of itself. And just worry about catching them. Just worry about catching them. Everything else will come into place. I've heard that same thing over and over all growing up, and unfortunately, I think that's changed a little bit. Don't get me wrong. If you blast them a lot, over and over and over and over,
yeah,
then that I think that's where that holds true.
Yeah. Like, but the definition of catching them, it's no longer qualify for the elites, and you're considered.
You're right. It's changed. Correct.
It's you have to get in the elites, and then you have to start winning.
Yeah, or
really consistent. Top 10,
up there. Yep.
Well, like there was another podcast I listened to, the Zaldane. He was on Mercer, and he was talking about how I didn't even realize this, but he's a big name, but he's had several top 10 in AOIs, I believe, in the elites. And so, I mean, there's some truth to catching them, but you're right. You gotta take advantage. You gotta capitalize on that. Like that's what's expected of you almost when you get to the top level. So once you do that, now you have to capitalize on it and grow your following.
Yeah, but it's kind of feel conflicted about that because you make the elites. Let's say like in Jacob's situation, like now you're competing against. I guess when he made it, not even 100 anglers, supposedly the best in the world. Once you've made it to that level, there should be some kind of giving back there. And I get it. Our world is totally different than any other professional sport. Like, you're not getting guaranteed paychecks and stuff, but I mean, some kind of something in place from the organization or the industry,
like
something.
Signing.
I mean, dude, we're talking thousands, probably tens of thousands. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a big number. Thousands, though, of guys that are trying to make it to the top. Yeah. And once you make it there, man, there's got to be some kind of give back or reward or kickback from that, but there's not, and that's just the way it is. Like everybody that does this seriously knows that, but it does hit home for me when he talks about that and he expresses that, because that's all I've ever heard. And
they're good videos. Go watch him. He had a follow video. He lost a couple sponsors. I think he's gonna pick some sponsors up from this. Too. I hope it's not just a temporary like.
Like for him. Yeah, like a kick, like sponsor trying to get on the kick.
Just jump on the bandwagon for a year with him. I hope they kind of support him. Any years you'll take it. Any support you can get. But anyway, go check him out. I mean, there's so much going on right now. We've talked about the MLF BPT thing and
stuff going on.
Bobby Lane's going back to BPT.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Lee
announced today.
Yeah. He's going back to Bass.
Yeah.
Larry Nixon retiring.
Bradley Hallman
retiring. That was a surprise for me because it was his first year back, so he had another year.
Yeah, he probably got some stuff going on.
I know he had a rough season. I'm sure it wasn't the season he wanted, but who knows?
No telling what he's got
going on.
Micah Frazier also.
Micah Frazier was another one. I'm like, dude, you're like, he's one of those guys that's kind of a sleeper. You don't really talk about him a lot, but he's always right there, and then you just never know he's going to show up and win.
He's really good.
He's good. I was surprised to see him bail, but you just never know what the motives are. But it just feels like every day, every week, something's changing. So
yeah, and it's
the other rumor: 5 BPT guys are bailing on BPT going to the Opens.
That's a rumor. We don't know if that's true or not, but yeah. There's a lot of stuff happening, man. Sounds like the NPFL is going to have a really good shot to fill their field of 130.
I heard they're close.
Don't know what the invitationals look like. I do know I can tell you that I called just to experiment with it. Just saying, hey, like, can I fish like any event I want right now, or
like as in jackpot?
Yeah,
you asked that.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah,
and they said, yeah,
and I was like.
Even though they said they weren't going to do that again this year.
Well, I don't know. Who knows, bro? I'm just telling you what I did.
So you going to do it?
Well, here's the problem with that. Like, I'd love to jackpot Rayburn, right?
Yeah. But then you'd be shafting me.
Well, not only that, but it's a month of off limits. So not just shafting you, but the entire month of January. Like, we're talking like
there's a lot of fish in January.
No tournaments, no guiding, no money coming in the entire month of January, pretty much. It's a lot to bank on one event. I do want to be in it really bad, just basically to say that I'm there, like I jackpotted that thing.
Well, I'll support you, whatever your decision. I mean, you'll be leaving me alone to practice for belt, but no big deal.
I mean, it's in the, who knows, man. By the time that's coming about, they'll probably have the full field. Who knows? I'm just telling you. Like last week,
do it.
As of last week, I called and said, hey, can I sign up? Can I still sign up? Because supposedly we're supposed to have our deposit due by November 6th, and this is
well past
that. So they're like, oh yeah, you can fish all of them. I was like, okay, well, what if I just want to fish one? Oh yeah. What if I just want to fish a couple? Oh yeah. So
I'm gonna call and try to sign up then.
Dude, I mean,
They'd be like, "Who are you?"
who cares?
I fished a BFL one time.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know if you can get in or not. I mean, you could probably call. But
I'll try.
Who knows? They're gonna end up filling the field. They got too many guys that fish the Yodas.
But you don't think they're gonna fill the field? That's a hard one. With guys that are gonna fish all 6 events, it'll be like
no, they'll be
jackpotters. They'll be local.
Yeah, they'll be jackpotters. They'll be yeah. Because you'll have BPT guys that jackpot the first one too.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're coming here anyway.
So
it'll be
Toledo.
Good. Or I thought they were coming to Rayburn too.
BPT's going to Toledo.
Oh, I don't know.
So is Bassmaster. Big
that's right.
Big year at Toledo, Ben. But
yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know what's all going on with that, but you got the NPFL, the Invitationals. I mean, there's just so much going on. It's a lot. At this point, man, for me, like, I don't even like it. It just is what it is. I just want to fish and stay competitive and fish as much stuff as I can and try to win everything that I can. And just every time my boat is the water, just go in with the mentality to win. And dude, as long as you're competing, you can't really complain. So
yeah.
Past that, we'll see. For me, it's not the end of the world if I don't fish the invitationals. Honestly.
You mean the one on Rayburn?
No, I mean like in general, like fishing the invitationals.
I got
like,
you. I thought you already said you weren't going.
No, I did. I'm just saying it ain't the end of the world that I'm not going. It's not the end of the world that I'm not going to the opens. And the main reason I say that is because the more I've thought about it, like, it's all going to change. So, next year or 2 years from now or 3 years from now, it ain't going to be the same as it is right now. You might as well write that down. We know that for a fact. So, you ain't missing nothing, dude. It ain't going nowhere. Like the opens ain't going nowhere. Getting back in the invitationals wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world if they're even around. Like, it's not the end of the world, dude. They ain't going nowhere. And if they do go anywhere, guess what? That means they're done. So you ain't going to be them anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. That's my take on it now, and I'm actually happy about it. Good luck.
Glad you feel better.
Good luck to all those guys. We got a couple of home guys fishing the.
Yeah, we do. There's a bunch of them.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of home guys.
Yeah, home guy. Well, somewhat, Where's
he live now? I mean, he wasn't even home this year.
Who knows? Nobody knows.
We have a guest.
Yeah, our guest today. Is one of my good friends.
You traveled with him this year.
Yep, one of my best of friends. Mr. Chad Mrazic just won the Toyota Series Championship on Table Rock. Felt really good to see him win.
Talk about catching him at the right time and a big win.
Yep, that was his first win. Couldn't have picked a better one.
Woo!
200 G's plus all the bonuses. It's gonna be over 200 a grand win. Big deal, man.
That's
big deal.
life-changing, honestly.
Big deal, dude.
I mean, not just the money. I'm talking about career-wise. That's going to change a lot for him. Should. We were just talking about that if you catch him.
Yeah, we'll see when we talk to him, like, see what has come about. It sounds like, already has some things in place, but we'll let him talk about that. It was good to see him win, for me.
Yeah, well, yeah. You were texting me, you're like, we talked every day after your event. We don't need to talk about that, though.
Oh, I got absolutely destroyed.
Anyway, you could tell me, man, I think Chad's got a chance. Because I guess you talked to him at the weigh-in line or something.
Thought he had the best chance going into the final day.
And he did it. So let's get him on the phone. Mrazek.
He's a northerner by blood.
Pittsburgh. He's an import?
Pittsburgh.
Not a native Texan.
Hello.
What up?
What's up, boys? What's going on?
Should I refer to you as Mr. Mrazic now, or can I still call you Chad?
Mr. Dr. Professor Mrazic, maybe.
I call him Chad Wick from time to time.
No, that's just the paid version. Chad works for now.
There you go. Well, we were just bragging on you. Congrats on the big win.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Feels like it's been forever. Feels like it's been 20 years, but it's only been a couple. So definitely glad to pump one out early in the career.
Probably feels like that because your PR lady or guy, whoever you got, had you on about 19 different podcasts already since you won. So
yeah, actually got some people with Major League Fishing that are kind of helping me out, doing everything like that, scheduling stuff for me. So I'm not really too in touch with what's going on and how many people are reaching out, but I know as far as the day-to-day thing goes, it's been pretty crazy. So
Absolutely. So for real, MLF is helping you out with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
At MLF that I'm in contact with, and they're just pretty much texting me every day saying, hey, here's another guy. Does it work out with your schedule? If not, then we can reschedule. And yeah, they're helping me out with that. So pretty cool deal.
Big timing, man. That's cool.
That's what's up. Well, this is the most important podcast, so.
Yeah, I mean, we just let you get those out of the way.
Yeah.
And then we can do.
No, things are definitely slowing down, so we save the best for last. We know what we're doing here.
Yeah, we'll let all these other guys get you on and come in with all the soft hits, and you got the hard hitting juice over here.
We haven't really got too deep in any of them. You know, it feels like everything's kind of been the same old. So I'm excited to finally, see some more deep questions. I feel like
we can go as deep as you want.
We go into deep waters here on the juice, man. There's no logos in the background. We don't have to worry about anybody dropping us as sponsors.
No,
I think it's kind of cool, and that's why people kind of like the juice so far.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it that way forever until somebody ready to cut that check.
Might have to put Chad's face back there if you want.
Yeah. Maybe Chad will sponsor us, but
I probably can help investing. I don't really know what the heck to do. It's a lot of money, so I'm still learning.
Well, man, I want to kind of back you up to kind of your start. I mean, that's kind of the thing we do. I've talked to you before, and I know you travel with Wyatt, and you and Wyatt are good buddies. And but I don't really know your story, man. Like, how'd you get into this game, and where are you from? Why do you do it?
Yeah, so pretty crazy story. I feel like it's not really common the way my upbringing in the fishing world came about. Just like all of us and the rest of us, I just like the bass fish. So started at an early age fishing. My dad always had boats, and in between football practice or whatever it was, that I was able to sneak out on the water for a couple hours with him here and there, and obviously that evolved more so throughout the end of my high school days, my high school years. It kind of turned into more of something that I could see myself doing, long term, and I started seeing the sacrifices that I had to make and stuff like that at an early age, which I'm pretty glad that I did, because I don't think it's a very good vision if you don't know what sacrifices and risks you have to take. So I was able to figure those things out early, and understanding that you're going to have to cut some people off and drop some relationships or friendships, whatever it may be, to sacrifice some things. And I'm definitely, like I said, glad that I saw that at an early age. And so pretty much straight out of high school, I went. I had a decent high school career. I wouldn't say anything. I didn't set the world on fire or anything. We won a couple of tournaments. Me and my team partner Joe. It really all started with Joe Beebe. I owe a lot to him. He's a really good fisherman, and especially here in this region on Lake Conroe and Rayburn, he's had a handful of tournaments there. We started this thing together, had this dream together, and then like I said, it evolved. Got out of high school and went to work. Really, just took online community college classes my freshman and sophomore year of college, and I was just working, trying to make this thing work. Somewhere along there, me and Wyatt met, and that was a whole big story in itself. But I won't get too far into that. we met, and we just kept on keeping on, and I think it was summer of 21. I got a call from a college in South Carolina. Kind of brushed it under the rug at first. Didn't really think much of it. I kind of had just planned on getting like a associate's degree from this 2-year community college and kind of bouncing out and seeing where the fishing thing took me. And so I brushed that under the rug at first and didn't really think much of it. And I kind of stepped back and I was like, man, I really wouldn't mind the college experience and wouldn't mind being a 21-year-old for a little bit before we really have to get to the real world. And looking back now, that's one of the best decisions I ever made. I went to Lander University there in South Carolina and learned a lot of the East Coast lakes and traveled a lot and fished a ton. And I was still fishing Toyota Series at the time, as well as the college stuff and being in classes. So it was a really heavy schedule, and glad I put myself under that pressure early as well, because I'm a kind of an advocate for a heavy schedule if you can make it work. So, I don't know. I'm kind of jumping around here, but after I left for school, it one thing led to another, and we graduated, and here we are now. So, I don't really know how deep you want to get into that, but a lot of sacrifices were made, and during that time I was in community college before I had made the jump to go to the East Coast to go to school and fish there. I was working as a mover, and that's something I always like to highlight because I know for certain I wouldn't have been able to make it as far as I have without, dropping everything and sacrificing that whole year to work as a mover and be able to gather up enough money just to fish my first division of the Toyota Series. And like I said, one thing led to another, and here we are.
So was that your goal? You kind of had your eye on, you were fishing Toyota Series, you had your eye on FLW or MLF as an organization you wanted to fish with?
Yeah, I would say it wasn't much. It wasn't much. I wouldn't say the thought wasn't that deep when I had first started fishing, if that makes any sense. So
yeah, I got you.
The vision wasn't like there. Obviously, I knew I wanted to try and fish for a living, but I was still kind of just dipping my toes in the water as far as, the big tournaments and stuff like that. So yeah. I fished the opens, kind of like jumped in them, nothing really seriously. Like I said, I was able to just cut everything off, work as a mover, and pretty much for a whole year, it was like I was like completely disappeared from the world, just in Houston in a 26-foot moving truck, 18 hours every single day.
Dang.
And after that year, I had enough, I gathered enough funds to be able to pretty much do whatever I wanted to do. So I kind of fished a little bit of the Opens, a little bit of the Toyota Series, kind of got myself familiar with those events, and then that next year I kind of hit them a lot harder. So.
And then that was the year that you qualified for the invitationals with Wyatt?
That was last year. So yeah. That would be my first year fishing in college. I was also fishing 2 full Toyota Series divisions, and then that's when I qualified for the invitationals.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, at that I don't know. I was gonna say at that time it was the pro circuit, but I don't know if it was or not.
Well, when you qualified, it was the pro circuit. Then they changed
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like? I mean, Wyatt likes to talk about his experience often.
I tell people how it is, bro.
Yeah.
What was your experience like in the invitationals last year?
I really think, I'll tell you this, if you know what you're getting yourself into, if you understand what you're putting on the line, if you understand from a financial standpoint, from a business standpoint, from obviously a fishing standpoint, if you understand what you're getting yourself into, I don't really see that there should be any surprises. Obviously, the changes at the end of the season and everything, that's always going to be a surprise, and things like that happening. That's never something anybody wants to see happen. And obviously, the fishing world's pretty shook up, and as an angler, there's really not a whole lot. Like, I would say at the point I'm at in my career and who I am to the industry, I don't think there's a huge difference that I can make. So you kind of have to roll with the punches. But as far as what I knew what I was getting myself into, I was really surprised. I thought everything was ran really well. I think we got treated really well. The one thing I could say that I wasn't really a huge fan of is the letting the whoever the heck wants to join. That wasn't really a good thing for
Jack Potters.
I'll tell you this: the biggest thing is I think we were a little devalued, and I saw that at the beginning, from the very beginning. The guys who qualified and made it the right way through points. Well, when you're taking pride in something like that, and then you see a guy that, no knock against anybody, because everybody's a good fisherman nowadays.
Sure.
So this isn't a knock against anybody, but when you see a guy qualify through a Toyota Series division who was in the whatever 60s or 70s in points, that's a little degrading, because there is guys that have dropped everything and are fishing these tournaments at $1,800 or $1,900 a piece and getting about $1,800 or $1,900 back if they catch a check, and just trying to make points and take the right steps. And there's some events where you might have to fish cautious just to be able to keep yourself on that end goal to make it to the next step. And then you see none of it ever mattered because you have a guy, from the bottom of the pot coming and saying that he's qualified as a professional fisherman. So it was a little degrading at first, but as far as being in the organization and in the league and with the invitationals, I had a good experience all in all.
Yeah. What do you think about the changes they made to BPT? I mean, does that change your perspective on things? I mean, going forward, because obviously you want to go from the invitationals to BPT.
Right. No, it does. It's I guess it's a little worrying. It's a little worrying. I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't worry me a little bit, but most of the time I've kind of noticed that there's a lot of complaining and there's a lot of stuff like that going on. But I'm really not one to put myself in that mix just because it really doesn't apply to me as much. Like I feel like there's guys that should be a lot more worried than I am.
I got you.
There could be a lot of questions coming my way, like why are you staying, or why are you not, going to Fish to Opens or whatever. And I think those are really good questions. But the way I've looked at it is, I've started my book, so I've got I've built something where I'm at now, and I think as far as right now, Major League Fishing, they've helped me build what I have now, which isn't much by any means to compared to a lot of guys, but I've started my book, so changing things up and starting a whole other book with a different organization just doesn't seem like a huge or a great move for me right now.
Yeah.
But that's just my perspective. There's so many different opinions and so many different guys in different situations, which you can never blame someone for the situation they're in. But as far as me right now, I feel really comfortable in the position I'm in. I feel like where I'm at and where I'm going is positive. And if there's a point where I see I'm putting tons of positivity and tons of hard work and tons of things into something and not getting anything at all in return, then maybe there's going to be a time where I'm like, hey, you know what, I need to step back and switch some things up. But as of right now, I feel like everything's moving in the right direction. It kind of seems like some things are being put together pretty nicely right now. So I'm happy.
I would say so. I'd feel pretty comfortable. But yeah, I mean that's cool that you feel that way, and the win was huge for that as well. So moving forward with MLF, I'm sure they're going to help you out even more. Being there.
Yeah. There's there's more spots opening up. So another way to look at it is the more people that are kind of jumping ship and things like that. That's just another spot opening up for
more opportunity.
So like, so
yeah,
and it's just like the other thing. Only so many people can be in the limelight, right? Like baseball, football, anything. It's the same exact thing. It's the same concept, and I don't think changes or anything like that are something that's going to affect me, like I said, at a huge rate at this point, because I haven't I've put myself in a position to be in the light, so now I just need to keep the momentum moving forward.
Heck yeah. Another topic we always kind of get on is sponsors. I mean, how was your sponsor thing kind of before getting on the invitationals, and kind of now that you fished a year, now that you've won, I mean, what's going on in your world for sponsorship wise?
Yeah, this is interesting. I actually never been able to let loose about this one. I've never really let this one go quite yet, and I don't know if you guys wanted to get into this or anything, but as far as last year or this season, I had a really good sponsor base. I had some huge things lined up to kick off my rookie season on the invitationals at the beginning of the season. And I signed with the title sponsor to, be pumping out some content, and we had a camera crew rolling with me and things like that. And, oh man, long story short, the title sponsor that I had signed with wasn't really, I guess you could say, wasn't really fit for the industry. I had a lot of long talks with Major League Fishing and the guys and the girls over there, and they shut it down pretty quickly. And I don't know if you guys want to get into that. I don't know if that's.
I mean, we can get into as much as you want to get into it. I do remember Wyatt telling me this. So you had actually started filming, or this? I thought this was like shut down before you had.
So the boat was wrapped.
Okay, so the boat was wrapped.
The money was good. Everything was fine. contracts were finalized. Everything was good.
Yeah.
And I guess it was a little bit more my fault than I give myself credit for. So it kind of was. I probably should have spoke up a little bit earlier, but we'll just go ahead and say it. I had opportunity to sign a title sponsorship with OnlyFans. So we were working and we were rocking and rolling and going in a positive direction, and we were gonna be pumping out some content and stuff like that. Nothing explicit.
Yeah, sure.
But they had taken a shot with me, and they wanted me to be their guy for the fishing industry. And
I gotta hold you right there. How in the world did you get hooked up with somebody? I mean, whatever you're willing to answer. How did you get hooked up with the right people at OnlyFans?
I'll just say I knew somebody who knew somebody.
Gotcha.
So may or may not have been in like the top 10 creators or whatever. Who knows?
So you knew a content creator who had the ear of the right people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a good way to put it.
That's how most of these relationships come anyway. Any sponsors, it's
sure.
knowing somebody. Knowing somebody who knows the right somebody. So anyway, I'll let you continue. So you're in this. You got the boat wrap. You got the contract. You got the money. Did you actually fish an event in that boat?
No. So it was shut down before the season even started. Thankfully, because I don't know that I don't know how I would have handled it if it would have been like mid-season and they were like, "Hey, you're done," or after I even fished the first event, they were like, "Hey, you can't do this anymore." Because I was actually no knock against Major League Fishing at all, because
sure.
I completely understand why they shut this down. I was actually threatened to be taken off. I don't know. I guess things at the beginning of the year were just meant a lot more to me because, you have so much money invested, you have so much time invested, and all these things are lining up, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just got a title deal, and I'm going to be able to fish without having to worry about money at all. And then it just seems like it was all taken from me, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Yeah. So I was kind of like freaking out, and I'm like, dude, what is going on with life right now? I feel like I just risked everything to qualify, and now I'm seeing people getting invites that I could have just moseyed my way on through 3 tournaments to get an invite. And then I get my title sponsor taken from me, and I'm like, what am I going to do, bro? I was just lost. But thankfully, I had some non-endemic guys I know through family and through other things like that kind of step up and help me out. And of course, my sponsors that I was allowed to keep, they thankfully were in the fishing industry, so it wasn't a conflict there. And they were able to step up and help me out with entry fees. But for the most part, it was, kind of just fishing to get to the next event. So I had some really bad ones, but I had some really good ones. And thankfully, tournament-wise, they lined up so that, I'd have a few good ones, and then I'd have a really bad one, and I was able to pick up and have a few good ones again. So I never really had a slump. I just had I'd say like 3 or 4 bad events kind of mixed into the hodgepodge of tournaments that I fished, but it was never like a slump. So it was usually just a one tournament thing, and then I was able to pick back up and then get myself to the next event. Yeah,
and you said earlier that you like a really busy schedule, and I think you kind of showed that this year. I mean, I saw you in New York, and you had been there for how long? You were fishing all kinds of stuff up there.
Yeah, so I was actually guiding on Champlain.
Yeah,
I was guiding in Connecticut, and I was fishing the St. Lawrence River event, and then the Potomac was up there, and then I was in La Crosse. So thankfully, Candlewood Fishing Camp is a kids camp ages 7 to 14 that I guide for in the summertime, and they kind of reached out last year, wanted to do some work with me, and I was willing to do some work with them, and we ended up getting together and putting our heads together, and I'm really thankful that happened because with the northern swing, I mean, it seems like every major tournament trail has a northern swing. It saves a lot of money when you don't have to drive back and forth from Texas to New York. So I was able to stay up there in Connecticut and New York and Champlain and guide and, just kind of kill time in between events and stack the bread up a little bit and then be comfortable going into the next tournament. So, yeah, I was up north pretty much from June till I don't even know, September, I guess.
Man, I'm jealous. I did not want to go home. I wanted to stay up there.
Yeah, there's some gems up there. There's some hidden gems up there. I'll say Candlewood. The only guy that I know that really puts a lot of time on Candlewood is Paul Mueller, and I saw him up there a bunch, and we talked a little bit, not much, but that place is unreal, like unreal. I think I fished a like a little local tournament and had like 22 all brown, and I finished good in like a 25 boat tournament. I was like 5th or 4th or something. The very next weekend, it took 28 to win, all green, and I was like,
all green.
All green.
What?
That's nasty.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just
unreal.
So different up there.
Crazy.
Like, just that whole region of the world just so different. I mean,
Very.
fishing is, I guess, because it doesn't have year-round pressure.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm gonna bring you back to the big win here, the Toyota Series Championship. So, I mean, how was practice? How were you feeling on that? I mean, did you know you were gonna win? Talk about that.
I think the first 2 days of practice, Wyatt and I actually talked a bunch about this. How it was kind of like nothing to really worry about too much with the first 2 days of practice, because I feel like I could have caught him doing just about whatever I wanted to with the weather, how it was in the first 2 days of practice. It was raining, it was stormy, and from what I've heard, that's like ideal table rock conditions. And it did seem like that. I didn't want to get myself too spun out. One thing I noticed after practice, which I was kind of worried about, is how spread out I was. I just couldn't get that out of my head. I had a lot of areas close to takeoff that I really liked, and then pretty much everything else, like the main gist of what I won off of, was like 30 miles or 35 minutes up the White River. So all 3 days it started pretty close, and then made that run. But I was so spread out because what I was fishing, for the most part, there wasn't a lot of it on Table Rock. So I was fishing stuff that we like to fish here at home. I'm sure, like, probably stuff that you look for in the open on Eufaula, Shane, is probably a lot similar to what I was kind of looking for. And obviously it's a different time of year and stuff like that. But everybody knows how the fall is, bait's moving, that fall transition's a weird time. But fish get really, really, really weird. I know here in Texas, especially, whenever you get weird weather like that during a transition period. So the smaller creeks, the flatter creeks, Wyatt and I talked about this a lot in practice, and I know he was kind of dabbling in shaking some things up with areas like that himself, and I know he was fishing that way too. But I did fish up in the main river channel and doing the whole 120, 90, 100 foot water scoping thing, and I feel like I had seen the maximum potential of it after I fished day one pretty much all day that way, and that was my smallest bag of the event. So I didn't really see that shaking out the way I wanted it to make a run at the win. So I changed things up on day 2 and 3 and started fishing those shallower drains, not getting a lot of bites, just fishing for 5, and that's really where I started seeing my bigger bites. I think in practice I had probably like 14, and Wyatt too. I'm sure, I know he was catching big ones. I could catch like 14 pounds pretty easily in practice doing that, fishing those shallower, flatter pockets, and scoping the timber. But it wasn't easy to get 5. So I had after practice I had like 3 of them or 4 of them that I knew were going to give me a really good shot, but I was kind of worried about banging on them for 3 days in a row. So that's kind of why I wanted to start the tournament off by fishing that deeper stuff in the main river channel with bait.
Yep.
So on the final day, did you when you come to weigh in, do you feel like you had it, or were you still like, man, somebody could still catch me?
No, I thought I was short. Honestly, I think whenever the live show comes out, it's gonna be pretty funny, because I was not in good shape. I thought, because 2 17-pound bags were weighed, but there was a whole bunch of 16s, a whole bunch of 15s, and I know, one right day for somebody, because the weights are so tight after after day 2.
Yeah.
It seems like if anybody caught 18 pounds on the final day, they were going to win the tournament.
Yeah.
Like anyone within the top 10, I think, if they had a big day like that, which is very possible, it's just one more 4.5 pounder to their bag. It seems like I knew that if you could catch 2 4-pounders a day and have, the rest of them, just 3 others that were solid ones, I feel like you could make a run at winning it. But anybody could have went out and caught, 3 or 4 or 5 4-pounders, and obviously that didn't happen. But I knew it was very possible for someone to catch a bag like that. And actually, the third day, the conditions were the best. The clouds came in, it had a little bit more weather coming in, and the fish had time to adjust with that high pressure and no clouds from the first 2 days of the tournament. I thought day 3 was going to be a slugfest, but it really, I guess it didn't stabilize as quick as I thought it would, and it was still pretty tough on everybody. And that could have been, from 200 plus boats, dropping baits on their heads for 3 days in a row. But I thought day 3 would be a slugfest for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, then you never know, especially on a championship event. It seems like that final day the weights are so stacked. They were so stacked.
Yeah, tight weights.
I mean, you never know when somebody's going to.
That's true, but what I mean by that is like you don't have somebody's not going to come in with 30.
No,
you know
no,
what I mean?
But when the biggest bag of the event was 17.11 or something. Chad had the second biggest bag of the whole event was 17. But I told Shane going into that final day, I was like, Chad's got the best shot. I mean, just look. I mean, these guys are trending down, and Chad's trending up. Very few. I said the only guys trending up are Emil and Chad, and they're going to be the ones to watch. And sure enough, it happened just like that.
And Emil got second?
Yeah.
What was the margin?
7 ounces, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But it was Chad's time, bro. That's just all there is to it.
What the weight said on my scale, because they gave me a Bubba scale after the meeting on day 2 to fish with on day 3 and to use on day 3. So I hadn't been using a scale all week.
Yeah.
But I'm not really a scale guy. I kind of just like to beam everything because I don't know. I'm just kind of weird about that scales, especially with like the culling scales are great and everything, but especially the ones that don't lock like by themselves, they kind of scare me a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So I beam everything, and they gave me that scale on day 3, and with the weight that the scale said I had, Emil and I would have been tied with what he weighed on day 3. So he weighed 16.11, and I was like, oh gosh, this is crazy. If my scale's dead on, we tie. If my scale weighed heavy, I'll lose.
Yeah, and you had never used a Bubba, so you didn't know if it was weighing light or heavy.
We used a Bubba all year in the invitationals, but that thing is not like.
No, you weigh them 3 times, you get 3 different weights.
Sometimes my Bubba is light, sometimes it's heavy. You don't really know what.
I don't know. Mine's always been light.
Really?
Yeah.
And then everyone in the weighing line wasn't helping at all because they were like, one dude was like, I think it was Colby Miller. He's like, mine always weighs heavy. And then the guy in front of him was like, mine always weighs light. And I was like, all right, dude, I'll just sit here and feel like I'm about to throw up until I finally put my on the scale.
Yeah. It was just your time, bro. It was meant to be, man, your time. And I think I've talked to Chad about this before, but I think if you work hard enough, man, like it's just the way the universe works, man. Like, whatever you believe in, your universe or whoever's universe. But when it's your time, it's your time. And that one was yours, you know what I mean? It was good to see, somebody like you win because it is deflating, with sometimes the sport has, certain things happen with other anglers and they're just in a lot better situations and it's not their fault, but it is, I'd be lying if I said it's not deflating sometimes to see, people that have it better off and knowing, me and you've known each other for a while, odds are stacked against guys like us, man. Like they really are. And you don't get to, the point we're at without, busting their ass. Like you got to catch them to get to where we are from our situation. That's just how it is, man. People can say whatever they want. And, but when you come from like our situations, you have to catch your way there, cause nobody's paying your way there. So, it was good. Like to me, it was like, I know for you, it was like a weight lift off your shoulders cause a win, and I have won a lot of big stuff, but like the stuff that, me and Shane have been able to win and stuff, it is a weight. Like the money's great. It's great to get the money, but to me, it feels like there's like a weight lift off your shoulders. And that's, to me, like that's when I was watching Chad weigh in, like I was literally in tears watching him weigh in, and he was about to break down on stage because I know that was that feeling of like that weight just gone. Because
definitely,
and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like you got to win. You got a big win, and I've already told some guys like, man, like next year in the invitationals, I think Chad's gonna be one to watch.
Look out.
Because you get that first win, it's like a weight lift off your shoulders, and you just start rolling. And now I know the turnaround time's not great because it is the end of the year win, and you don't have you're not turning around and getting on a tournament immediately, but it doesn't matter. Like you got a lot of steam.
I think it's
rolling.
almost better. He's gonna get to soak it in and enjoy it. You know what I mean?
It's definitely better from the standpoint of like like when you win one like that at the end of the year, you hold on to it for so much longer than you would. Because a lot, like let's say you win, midway through the season, early in the season, you might have a tournament 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Like it's here today, gone tomorrow.
Well, and that's going to be huge for him too, just the exposure. And I mean, it's a big win regardless, but having that time to just kind of soak in, and that's kind of the last thing on everybody's mind, it's really the last big tournament.
Oh, for sure.
Year. So, I mean, Mr. Mrazek's name that's all we get to hear about all winter. No, man, I'm happy for you. I think he's right though. The momentum is such a powerful thing in the sport, and I can't wait to see what you do next year.
Man, I appreciate it. Well, yeah, I'm glad, Wyatt. I'm glad you kind of touched on that about you can't blame anybody for the situation they're put in,
no.
and that's why it feels like it's been 20 years I've been trying to get one, but it's only been like 2 or 3, and that's why it feels so long, just because of how much sacrifice and how much time, and it's not like anything could happen, right? Like anything could happen. A mechanical failure, anything can happen, bro. But I feel like whenever you're coming from a situation, and I'm not saying I'm from I'm not saying I'm from the dirt or anything like that. Try to a lot of support at home, but as far as that goes, just to kind of make everybody else understand a little bit better, it's not nothing was handed by any means. So I wouldn't have been able to be here if I wouldn't have dropped everything to go in a 26-foot moving truck 18 hours every single day. I wouldn't have been able to be here if I wouldn't have got done with the tournament and go hustle and try to flip $1 wherever I can, however I can, legally, by the way. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. So that's why it feels like the process has been so long, because whenever you don't have a day off, bro, whenever you don't have a day to sit back and say, oh my gosh, everything's going perfectly fine right now, I don't have anything to worry about. When you don't have days like that, because guys like us, those days don't happen. Whenever you get a win, that's that day for you. So you're able to finally soak it in and be like, oh my gosh, like it is true. You can't, like, working hard and busting your ass, you still can do it that way. Like you still can make that happen. So that was the weight, and that's why I'm glad you kind of brought that up, because it's been a process, dude, and I feel like you can't. There's no replacement for hard work at all.
No, I agree, and it's gotten, like, me and Shane kind of talked about stuff before the show. It's a little different, but it has changed a ton. Like it ain't just catch them and everybody. Everything's gonna be all right. But it still holds true. Like if you work hard enough and if you hit them, you gotta have a little fortune on your side. Like I said, it's kind of got to be one of them deals where, like I said, when I was referring to the universe, like whatever your universe is, but like God's got to kind of have his hand over you, like, and if, in certain situations, I feel like that's with anything, but like, hey, this is what you're meant to do. These are the doors that have opened up. This is why you're doing this, and you don't understand at the time, but this happens and that happens, but all that stuff kind of rolls into one when you just keep your head down and work hard. And I think that's no matter what level you're at. For me, like I said, me and you've had the conversations, for me, like, you don't really know what's going to happen year to year. Shane's in a situation right now too. Hell, we all are. I think a lot of anglers in that situation. You don't really know what the next year brings, because you don't know what sponsor dollars you're getting. You don't know what opportunities you're really going to have the next season to fish what you can. But whatever you're fishing, you just got to make the most of it and keep your head down, because whatever path you're going on or whatever, if it's truly meant to be, that's where you're supposed to be, And that's what's good to see somebody like you win, and I think you do really well with it, man. I think that schedule sets up really good for Chad. I was telling Shane that earlier. I think the schedule is going to set up really well for you too.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the schedule. That'll be a good one. I haven't spent much time. I've been on the Detroit River. I fished St. Clair. I fished Erie, so that'll be a good one. I'm definitely excited that we're mixing in some brown fish tournaments in the schedule for me.
Right. You've been to Eufaula.
Yep, Eufaula. That's a good one. Spent a little bit of time. That actually sealed the AOY there this year, so that's and it's like I think it's like the same day too.
Yeah, same exact time of the year. Yep. So, and then obviously you spent some time on Rayburn. That'll be the start of the year. So it'll be solid.
Yeah. Any changes for you? I mean, you don't have to say names or anything. I don't want to steal your thunder on announcements or anything, but back on the sponsor thing, any improvements since the win? Any changes coming for you next year?
Yeah. So, making a few big changes. Got I'll go ahead and say it here now. I guess it was the first time or second time, maybe whatever it is. I'm gonna be representing Yellow Dog Tackle Supply next year. We've got an e-commerce website coming out. It's gonna be pretty big. We're coming at the industry hard, and I've got a guy over there that's taking a shot with me, so I'm really excited about that and seeing what we do with this thing. We're gonna make a run at all the major tackle suppliers in the U.S. and Yellow Dog Tackle is definitely something to keep your eye out for. We've got all kinds of things coming. We're gonna do things a little bit differently. We got an app coming, and we got all kinds of crazy stuff in the works, and I'm really excited. We plan on launching around Black Friday, so that's gonna be a big deal. And I'm really excited to represent them. Other than that, everything else has pretty much been the same. Sponsor wise, I guess they're a lot of people are kind of labeling it as a life changing win, and I'd say if anything changed my life, it'd be the actual money. But as far as the win, I think there was some things with sponsors. I think I always like to get on a jump on the sponsorship thing early. Sure. So around September, October is kind of whenever I start to get the ball rolling for the next season. So, I'm glad I got on that early and I was able to make this deal, finalize this deal and get it in writing before any of this even happened. So, that's a really big deal to me, that they took a shot with me before I even got the big win, and that means a lot to me, and trust is everything. So I always look for lasting partnerships, and I want things to last a long time, and I want to grow with them, and I want them to grow with me. So as far as that goes, I'm definitely excited I was able to lock those things in before the big win. And then it kind of seemed like I'd reached out to, oh my gosh, I'm sure so many other people do this, but you reach out to everybody and everybody, it seems like everybody's got good stats now. So stats really don't mean anything. And then without a huge following, then you can't really leverage anybody in a crazy sense, unless you have tens of thousands of followers, which social media is kind of, it's never really hurt me, but I'm still learning and growing with my brand and my social media, and,
sure.
and we're getting things going there. So, what I was getting at there was, I reached out to a lot of people and got ghosted by a lot of people and had no response by a lot of people, or I got a lot of no's. And then, for the most part, it kind of seemed like, after 2 weeks ago that a lot of people were kind of reconsidering that. And, I think that kind of shows true colors. I don't think that's something I want to, no knock against anybody. I know how business works, and I know, from a business standpoint and a business mindset, it wouldn't really have been a great idea for some companies to jump on board with me before a big win or anything like that. But I definitely did get to see a lot of people's true colors with things happening the way they did, and people kind of coming back and saying, you know what, is that all you were asking for? Okay, maybe
yeah. You know what, man? You weren't asking for too much.
Yeah, that was before the win.
Yep.
So
that's not good.
I'm not the kind of guy to ask for anything outstanding or crazy. I know how business works, and I know so I never really asked anybody for anything outlandish. You know, I wasn't asking a rod company that started up last year for $60,000 or anything like that. But you know, I was just exploring new avenues and
sure,
seeing
you got to keep your name out there.
Yeah, and you know, that was definitely an eye opener with how things work there. But it's all good. You know, we've got pretty much a finalized team of sponsors going into next year, and some I'm kind of holding back on, and some I'm not. So I'm excited to get everything going. You know, I'm working on getting everything rigged and wrapped for next season. So I'm looking forward to making those announcements. But for the most part, yeah, we've got a pretty good team and a simple one. So I'm excited to.
Nice, man. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, that is
not a sponsor and be able to make a better difference to whenever you have less sponsors that are helping you out more. It makes everybody's life a lot easier.
Right.
So,
yeah, and your value to that sponsor is exponentially greater because you're not having to spread yourself so thin on you know, pleasing all of your sponsors. You know,
right.
if you have one big relationship, dude, I'm happy for you. That's super cool. I think
that's a good thing out of just one.
Yeah.
Is your rap is it gonna be like simplistic like that? Like, is it just gonna be that low, like one giant, you know, like that
yellow dog tackle,
or you're gonna have some other guys?
Yeah. I'm going to do a few other people, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, that one giant logo, and that's what we're rocking with. You know, I'm pretty much dropping everything to make sure this thing blows up. So that's my job, on and off the water. You know, obviously we got to still catch them, but
yeah,
that's my main focus is we're going to take this tackle thing and we're going to make it huge. So that's where all my chips are going to be, and you know, I'm excited. Like I said, my job's going to be a lot easier, but I'm still gonna bust my ass for them, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
Gotcha.
Well, you got anything else for him?
Man, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of some other things. I don't think so.
Let's talk about y'all. What's y'all's plan?
Well, we kind of have we talked about that today?
Not really.
I can't remember.
We talk a little bit about it every episode, but well, I'm staying home. I'm not going to the Opens next year. I didn't raise enough sponsor dollars, so I'm not going to the Opens, and I think I'm going to focus on fishing what I can here, team stuff. Yeah. Not going to fish Toyotas. I really don't want to give MLF a penny of my dollar. Nothing. I mean, good for you that you have a better relationship with them, but yeah, I'm just going to fish belt. I think is my only and guide. That's it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I've said it a couple of times. Right now, I can't really get into it a ton because I don't know. Now everything's finalized yet, you know, but I do know that as of right now, I can't afford to do much. So I'm gonna still fish as big a schedule as I possibly can. I'm still gonna keep myself busy. I'm not gonna back off on the Toyotas, unlike Shane. I'm not gonna view them that way. I'm probably gonna travel to a few. Hopefully we can get all these sponsor dollars rounded up. And we can still travel pretty heavy, so I plan on still fishing a big schedule, and I'm not really going to worry about like I kind of spoke on it throughout the episode in the beginning. I'm not going to worry about necessarily what I'm fishing. Just focus on what tournament's ahead of me and what's next, and go from there, man. I think a lot's changing, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I alluded to that. I think before you got on, Chad, I alluded to the Opens and the Invitationals, man, like they're not going anywhere as of right now. You know, everything's going to change in the next year or two or three. So no matter what happens, if you just keep your head, I think if I keep my head down, stay competitive and fish what I can, what I can afford to really. And, just grind away and, those opportunities will still be there. Like I don't think if I did end up fishing the Toyotas this year, I'm not saying that I'll requalify, but based on, the previous couple of years of qualifications, I don't think
you don't have to.
I don't think there's a such thing as having to do well enough in the points. So I think if I really wanted to go back, I could. And the Opens, I think, I don't think they're going to have 225 guys sign up for all nines. I don't think they're going anywhere. Nothing's going anywhere. So it's just best to keep your head down and just keep rolling with it. Hopefully, though,
Brandon's coming to Conroe, right?
Yes, Brandon Belt's coming to Conroe. What time of year is that?
February, end of February.
That'd be a good one.
I don't
know. It's gonna be a freaking slugfest though. Are you gonna come over for that one?
I'm fishing it, dude. I'm fishing it. Me and Joe, we're fishing it.
Me and Shane will be there.
Sorry,
Hey.
I hate to beat you on your home lake, but we're coming for
That'll
you.
be an exciting one.
Yeah,
It's going to take some weight, dude. You have to catch them. I bet it's going to
Yeah.
fish small, but you're going to have to catch them.
It's going to fish small.
And then
right?
when's the 100 grand one?
That's
March
in
on
Rayburn in March. So
like first week of March.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make that one too.
yeah, that'll be another good. Well, I mean, you got the not long after the Invitationals, you got a Toyota on Rayburn. Plus, then that one's right, not far from it either.
Yeah.
So there'll be some
I think
tournaments.
Isn't there a college tournament there then at the same time too?
What's that?
I think there's like a college Bassmaster around the spawn too.
Shoot, I hope
But
not.
I don't know. The
No,
exact date.
there's one in May.
On Rayburn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, in May. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing about when Shane refers to staying around here, like really not that many tournaments on Rayburn, to be honest. Like we'll have a couple, but it'll be Conroe, Cedar Creek, Lake of the Pines.
Yeah, I might jackpot an ABA 150 or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Toledo.
We
Toledo.
haven't had a big money tournament on Conroe other than like the big bass deal. I don't think we've had a 5-fish big payout tournament on Conroe in like years.
Oh, this
Like,
one's
it's
going to
been
be, this is $50K first place. Let's get it.
So that'll be exciting to see everybody come back to Conroe, and especially after the tournament's over with.
Yeah, that's
All
kind
my
of
the smithereens.
that's kind of the beauty, man. Like I think we take that for granted a lot. Like growing up here, where we live in this part of the United States, because there's like not pretty much anywhere else in the United States that other anglers could even have the opportunity to do what we do. Because we always like, oh man, like I guess I'm gonna stay back around regionally. It's like, hey, bro,
there's so much money.
God dang,
being
you're
won.
gonna fish for $50,000 every weekend. Chill out, bro. You fish for $20,000 and $50,000 and $100,000 multiple times. Like, man, it's a blessing, dude.
Yep.
Like it really is.
Yeah, definitely a good way to look at it. There's probably a lot more pros to that than traveling. If you want me to keep it real with you.
Yeah, I mean,
As far as
investment.
from like an angler, like a sponsored angler, I don't know that the benefits for someone you work with would be better. But
Right.
as an angler, like as the one putting your boat in the water every weekend, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
return
that's
on your
what-
investment is far greater if you stay home.
Yeah, we all knew that. though.
Yeah. So
We all knew that before we did what we did this year.
yeah, we're like I said every episode we're idiots for chasing it, but I mean, it's the dream. Look at it. He's living it. He hit the big one. So
Yep.
a big one.
Yeah, he did.
One of many, hopefully.
Yep, he did. He did do that. Well, man, I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on, bro. I think we're gonna be seeing each other soon. I got a birthday coming up. Me and Chad and our ladies are gonna go eat a nice dinner at the Republic Steakhouse on Friday night.
Man.
Chad's probably gonna have to pay for it.
Chad better fork.
And it's nice. It's really nice. Actually, Governor Abbott was there yesterday, so we might run into him in his wheelchair. But other than that, man, like,
Dang, man.
other than that, man, it's
I don't
been
know why you had to throw that in there.
rolling around, chilling. But
Is that your OF contact?
yeah, man, we appreciate
I'm
it. Big
gonna
time.
need that. I'm gonna need that, by the way, since you're not using it. Maybe they want to sponsor the juice.
Yeah, well, I've still got things going on. Just look up Only Chad.
Nice,
It's the
nice.
paid version now.
Subscribers only.
Hopefully, next time we got you on, you just won. Who
Won
knows?
a-
Maybe win the opener at Sam Rayburn.
Oh,
That'd be a good one. Or Red Crest. Or Red Crest.
Redcrest, that would
dang,
be you
the
win
Red
that
Crest
one.
qualification.
You win that one, dude. It's,
You are buying steaks.
it's over.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
wraps.
no more kids meal.
yeah. Well, dude, we appreciate your time. Know you're a busy man, but enjoy it, relish in it, soak it up. You earned it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for having me on.
You bet, man. Take care.
See ya.
Nice.
Shabam.
You know
Dude, I
what?
forgot about that.
The OnlyFans deal.
Yes.
It's a heart. It really was a heartbreaker. I mean,
I don't want to dwell on too much, but I'm like, that's a crazy story.
it was gonna be a good, really good deal for him.
Did you? I was gonna ask him, but he kind of switched off the subject. Do you know if there was they cited a rules things or something in the rules that says?
Who, MLF?
Yeah.
They
have to-
can. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, first of all,
It's got to
when
be
you-
in the rules.
when you sign that deal, you're
you're their employee.
I mean, you're not necessarily screwed because you can step away
No,
whenever
but
you want, but they have control over what you represent. You know,
That's what I was wondering.
It's their,
Is it
at their
rules?
discretion. Yeah, like
I'm gonna go look it up after this.
But he was just going to pay the fines per.
Oh, they were gonna fine him,
or just not have a rap. I don't because if you didn't, dude,
I don't
it's
know.
all,
We might have to have
it's
back
a
on
bunch.
to finish that later, but
It's all a bunch of hoopla.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Supposedly at the beginning of the year, if you didn't have a boat wrap, you got fined like.
Well, if you don't have a boat wrap, but I'm talking about fining him
Yeah.
for having OnlyFans on his boat wrap.
Yeah, it's not an approved logo.
I just want to know where it is in the rules, but clearly it's
Probably
there,
somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I guess it's up to them anyway. Come on, Boyd. You gonna let your boy Chad have an OnlyFans boat?
Boyd's not letting a lot of crap happen right now.
Dang, man! Like at least you could have done something right. Just let the man let a young man have an OnlyFans boat.
He just lost his Gunnersville native.
You know what? Maybe there's some more maybe that industry would like to support bass fishermen.
What? OnlyFans? I
Yeah.
think they were trying to use Chad as a different angle.
The whole industry.
As you know what I mean? Like as a different angle for OnlyFans, not like a,
Yeah, I get it.
bad
But still,
content.
man, you know he had connections and he got a bunch of money to support him fishing the trail. I mean, it's like
Boyd's going through hell right now, ain't he?
he put it on himself,
He's
man.
losing his fellow Gunnersville angler.
Dude, Joe Lee's a big name, and to lose him back to bass, whatever. I think that's going to set a tone for some other guys, you know? I mean, obviously the Wheeler.
Yeah, he
and
lost
Connell
Joe, but he got back Bobby. So
I'm a little disappointed, man. Like,
got back Bobby there.
got to talk to Bobby a little bit this year, and I was, like, dang, man, that's pretty cool. He said, I'm going back to the Opens because there's only one thing to check off on my resume, and that's a classic win.
Yeah, I think he kind of maybe. I know whatever about the money, but
Who knows? There might be some inside trading going in on there. Like, hey, we'll give you Jordan. We want Bobby back.
no.
No, but maybe Boyd reach out to Bobby like, hey, man, we need you. We need you back.
Well, they're both using Legends exemptions to get back in.
Which I didn't even know MLF had a Legends exemption.
Well,
They do now. Boyd just makes up rules as it goes along.
who knows, bro? It's
Anyway.
a wild west out there. Yeah, man. How a boy Chad always good. I'm about to go late.
Yeah. I don't know why. Are we fishing the belt this year?
What belt?
The belt team series.
Yeah, we're fishing the belts.
Yeah. Every time I talk to you, you got a different story.
I just told this guy that I'm fishing the belts every time they would talk.
But I might miss one or two of them.
No.
I'm gonna miss some practice for sure. Maybe
No.
the tournament.
2 days of practice.
The 2 official days of practice.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Anyway.
These guys they're not gonna put in more time.
Than me?
Than who?
Than me?
No, they don't put it down than me either.
Sounds like it's all be fishing next year.
No, there's some other stuff that'll come up. Doesn't matter. I don't know who we'll have on next time. We got some stuff in the works. We're gonna amp this stuff up. Might be
I do think we're gonna take next week off because I'll post this one this week.
you're going hunting
tomorrow.
or fishing and hunting.
I'll upload this one tonight, Wednesday, and I leave.
You're gonna.
I got a couple trips on Fork, and then I go to Kansas for bow hunting. Ow!
Kill a biggin.
And
So
then
you'll be back.
Thanksgiving.
When are you gonna be back?
I'll be
Thanksgiving
back
week?
the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh man. Yeah.
And-
Well, we'll film sometime around then.
So we're probably gonna take a week off. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. But we'll post this week Thanksgiving off, and we'll get right back after it. We'll find another guest, maybe Jordan Lee, maybe Bobby Lane.
He don't text us.
He did. He said he would come on.
He don't like
Took
us.
him-
I'm wearing his freaking hat.
Took him 11 days to respond, but he said he would come on.
Wearing his hat, dude.
I'll text him right now, and then we'll see what he says. All right. Is that it? Oh, what did I do? Did I close that?
Oh shoot.
No, we're still
back.
good. I just
Real quick
realized-
before we go, is he gonna win a third classic before he?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't even know
man,
anymore.
that would be nasty. But anyways, congrats to Joe Lee. We went back to bass. Congrats to our man Chad winning,
Mr. Mrazic.
to me, the third biggest tournament that exists. And till next time, man.
Till next time.